Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. I'm in Leicester. This is Leicester, England, hometown of David Icke, or it's where he was born anyway. He lives on the Isle of Wight now. And I'm outside, I'm across the road from Secular Hall in Leicester. And you can see there, it says there, Leicester Secular Society. Now you may be wondering what that's about. What does secular even mean? Well, I'll get into that. But I mean, one thing I've noticed in recent years is you get a lot of what you call kind of new atheism or militant atheists. People like, well, Richard Dawkins is the best known. There's people like Christopher Hitchens, although Christopher Hitchens is more of a kind of I think he's more into just debating, and I'm not sure I believe everything he says. You know, he's a bit sincere. He likes to debate. He'll debate anything. This was built in 1881. It's the only building dedicated to non-religious activities outside London. It's a fine building. Well, I'm going to go and see if I can get a closer look at it. I'm going to have to cross the road. Got to watch my feet. It's a bit slippery. It's been snowing. Here we go. I did an article about this on her Panwo Voice. I'll put a little link in the description box. But I thought I'd just come here and film. As you see, the doors are shut. I can't get inside it. There's a little sweet shop next to it, which is pretty good. Now, one thing you've got to bear in mind is if you listen to someone like Richard Dawkins, they use phrases like an atheist's call to arms, or militant atheism and things like this. And you know, they'll say something like well, atheists have to stand up for ourselves and things like that, for our rights. I suppose that's fair enough. I understand that. But the problem is, I think what a lot of these atheists are doing, these so-called new atheists, is they're sort of like trying to cancel out injustice with another injustice. They're trying to fight fire with fire and hopefully have a big enough fire and burn the enemy the way they used to burn them. And this is the only solution to injustice that our society ever presents. You see it in many, many areas. And I think that concerns me. I'm concerned by some of the rhetoric you hear from people like Richard Dawkins and these other sort of new atheist type people. All I would say to people, if you don't have to believe in God, fair enough. I mean, no one's going to force you to believe in God, all right? But if you convince yourself that religious people are wrong, you know, then you may fall into the trap of thinking, if I'm so sure they're wrong, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to disagree with me. And that can lead to untold misery and untold injustice and untold horrors. Obviously, you know, I mean, that's never happened yet. I mean, people often say that Marxism is militant atheism. It's not. Marxism is something entirely different. Well, there's a connection which I'll get down to in a minute. But basically, I think what's needed here is a bit of introspection. Now, I'll put some more links in the description box. I'm not going to repeat myself on things I've said before, written before, but have a look at the links in the description box where I outline the whole issue. It includes a review of Richard Dawkins' book, The God Delusion. It's really too big a subject for me to go into all its details here. All right, but have a look in the description box at those articles. Now then, it says here, see, it's Leicester Secular Society, right? Well, secularism is not the same as atheism, right? Atheism is a disbelief in God, all right? Secularism is an idea that religion should play no part in political life. It's possible to be a believer in God and still believe that God should stay out of politics. There are secularists who are religious, a minority, but there are. Now, I suppose in that sense I'm a secularist too. Although I'm not an atheist, but I'm not religious either. And I mean, that's where smoke starts coming out of the ears of people like Richard Dawkins, and they, you know, like a Star Trek robot, they go, "Does not compute, does not compute." Now, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this building. Like I said, it's built in 1881. It's a grand old, typical North Country red bricked mansion. There, it's the symbolism. Well, I'll go into that another time. I'm not sure whether the symbolism is significant, but it has a kind of stark sort of like grandeur to it, which I do admire. The first thing you notice about this building is there are statues. There are little figurines, little busts here. That's one for Robert Owen. I'm not sure who he was, but he's obviously one of the people that is one of the sort of like famous people that they admire. This here's Thomas Paine. Now he's a philosopher who wrote the books The Rights of Man, and he's been included here in this little Hall of Honour. There's a whole series of them here. There's another one. I'll carry on along here. Voltaire, the man who said he said that Earth is the asylum where the universe sends its lunatics. Very true. He also said we're never free unless we're willing to passionately campaign for the rights of those who we disagree with to have a voice. So the fact that they put Voltaire up here on this pillar actually fills me with confidence. It makes me think, yeah, these guys aren't so bad after all. You know, maybe they're not like the Richard Dawkinses. Maybe they're a bit different from them, you know. So we'll carry on a bit further along here. There's two more statues. What's this? Jesus. No, your eyes have not deceived you. The Secular Society of Leicester has a statue or a little bust of Jesus outside its doors in place of honour. Now you may wonder why that is, why it's got a statue of Jesus, little statue of Jesus. Well, there's a TV show, you go on YouTube, there's a video called Secular Believers. If you put in Secular Believers, it's an hour-long video which features the Leicester Secular Society and talks about a lot of other things. And what it is, they put him up there because he's a free thinker. Now that's a very good thing, I think. It shows that they are secularists, not atheists. So secularists, you see, can have some kind of respect for religious belief. It's not like Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins would never put a statue of Jesus outside his house. If Richard Dawkins founded an institution like this, you wouldn't see that. You didn't see it outside the British Humanist Association. Do you remember the video I did where I gave the British Humanist Association their MBA? Well, the fact they got Jesus up here, I think means that the Leicester Secular Society will not qualify for the Materialist Bravery Award. Last but not least, Socrates, the great Greek philosopher, the earliest, the guy who inspired Aristotle and Plato, the man who was poisoned, he was executed, he was poisoned for corrupting the youth. Oh dearie me, naughty, naughty Socrates. Now carry along here. There we are, Secular Hall, Leicester Secular Society, rooms for hire, and you see you can actually, this building is actually used for a lot of civic life. You have a lot of people come and they use it for various, as you see, martial arts, ballroom, quite a lot along here. Now here they got a little display window, and I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a minute. Yoga, you see, and they often put up pages from the various secular activities. For instance, I think there's Skeptics in the Pub. I saw an advert for Skeptics in the Pub here once, because I often come through here on my way to Nottingham, and there's the room hire rates and pictures from the inside. The birth of God, oh my goodness. Working with the Muslim community. See, I mean, the part of secularism means that, you know, no religious people are sort of like not, it doesn't matter what religion you are, you know, so I suppose that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing anyway, you know, and they're keen on human rights and things like that. So again, this again warms me. It makes me feel, you know, that it makes me feel warm fuzzy feelings towards them, and the idea that you know, they're not extremists or anything like that, you know. It means they don't get their MBA. What's the time? I'm going to have to just check the time a moment. Bear with me. Have another look at Secular Hall there from down here. For 2 right? It is a fine building. It's Secular Hall there. 130 years old, still standing. Like many buildings you get in modern city centres, there's a lot more. You see a lot more buildings that are like over 100 years old, and there are over 30 years old. I mean, I bet you that will still be standing when this new thing here has fallen down, and all these other ones have fallen down. Probably this will still be here. They built them to last in those days. I'm going to find somewhere a bit quieter because it's around here. As you can see where we are here, the Leicester Secular Society. See, there's a little pub there. I'm walking to Yeoman Street, where it's a bit quieter. Now, one of the things that did disturb me, and just have a quick look at the back of the building there. You can see it up there, see? That's the Leicester Secular Society. Now, one of the things that did disturb me and worried me, still recording, yeah, is that there was a link between the skeptic movement and therefore secularism, atheism, and political left-wing organisations. Another link I'll put in the description box is my interview with Steve Trueblue on Panwo Radio, and you know him as Kimbo99 on YouTube, and he's a very, very keen analyst of the skeptic movement and a critic of it. There's people like Skepcop, Winston Wu, and people like that. I want to interview him as well. And he's discovered some links between that, that says that the militant skeptic movement as we know it today, Richard Dawkins, James Randi, people like that, have links. The people themselves tend to be sort of left-wing liberal types, but they have links to radical leftist organisations. Now, before you think I'm going to go off on some sort of political rant against communism and stuff like that, I'm not, because the Illuminati use the political right as much as they do the political left, and fascism, the Nazis, conservatives, the neoconservatives in America, they are as much a part of the agenda as Marxism and the communists and people like that in the Soviet Union. I think because we had Margaret Thatcher through the 1980s, left-wing ideas have developed in this country a kind of anti-establishment, taste to them. They have that kind of feel to them, and I think that's a mistake. I think it's a delusion caused by the way the Illuminati played the two sides off against each other. Left and right are like a pincer movement against us. And what you have today is, in a sense, we live in a society ruled by radical left-wing ideas. The Fabian Society, the Frankfurt School. Now, JamNoise72 made an excellent video talking about Dr. John Coleman, and he's tried to expose this. He's tried to expose these various conspiracies, and he was doing it long before the internet was even thought of. He's writing books in the 1970s and 80s about this. And if you can get hold of the Committee of 300 or the Tavistock Institute, I'd get hold of those books and read them. There's some free copies. I think they're in the public domain now anyway. But see, I was up here a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking in the window here, in the Secular Society window, just round here, where I showed you. And one of these newsletters that was put up here was talking about the dangers women face from rapists. And as always, when these crimes occur, they are often politicised. And this article was very, very harshly politicising the fact that these women have been raped. If someone robs a bank or something, you say, "Oh, nasty old bank robbers, aren't they evil?" For doing that. They shoot someone, even if they shoot someone dead, oh, they murdered someone, you know. But if a man rapes a woman, it's it's treated very differently. There's a sense from the feminists and from the feminist side of the left-wing milieu that the man raped the woman because there was something inherent and natural about male human beings that makes us do that just normally. It's part of our normal nature to do that. If we can get away with it, we'll do it. That is nonsense, and it is insulting, dangerous nonsense. But it is promoted and it is accepted in very, you know, in the highest authorities without question. And the Leicester Secular Society were promoting that. They were promoting this idea that, you know, that men, especially white straight men, are evil. And this is part of what Dr. John Coleman was warning about. He, you know, and you'll hear more about this. The Fabian Society, the Frankfurt School. It's cultural Marxism. It's part of a great group of people. Pardon me? I beg your pardon, sir?
Across the road or something, innit?
No, I mean on a public street. Or you know, I'm on a public street. I'm not filming your car, sir. I'm not filming your car. Mate, I'm on a public street filming. I'm not filming any. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, cultural Marxism, which is a, you know, which is all part of this New World Order. And I think that's something you've got to worry about. This is part of what's been used to imprison us, the various ways that we've been using the prisons, in cultural prisons. And as I said, it includes feminism. It includes things such as political correctness. Whether you hear someone correct you for using a word like saying "bar black sheep" or something, say you shouldn't say that. It's offensive. Well, it's not offensive. It's political correctness. You know, they say it was racist to ask for a black coffee. Well, no. Racism is, like any other form of human violence, is something that can. It's not something you can do to another person accidentally. And it's being used to control our thoughts and control our actions. It's a thought crime, to use Orwell's phrase. Anyway, I'm going to head back now to the coach station. Hope you enjoyed that. That's the Leicester Secular Society there. Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.